Hello, hello, hello. This is Carl A. Smith, aka Dr. Cash, coming to you with our weekly stock market analysis for the week of February the 9th. The Bulls are still in control with a very aggressive move for the majority of the last week, excluding Friday, where all of your major indices were up week over week, with the NASDAQ leading the way with very strong earnings reports out of a number of tech bellwethers. At the same time, our S&P was up just short of 2.75%, and our IWM Russell coming in at 2.10%. So this is our largest 1 week gain going back approximately 6 weeks. So pretty significant movement across the board with all of our major indices with significant influence within the NASDAQ. So we do anticipate a continuation of our bullish move, but we'll jump into that momentarily. But at the same time, we do want to communicate out a very exciting time within our organization at Carl A. Smith Holdings. We do want to announce that we have released our first Cash University class, Stock Market 101 Investment Basics. And this class is geared toward individuals that are relatively new to the market, helping to understand terminology, direction, as well as really focusing in on the most critical aspect of success in the stock market is mastering the mental game. So we spend a lot of time really digging into the nitty-gritty of the psychological aspects of the market, in addition to providing some of the basic mechanics. So we do want to announce that. Please take a look at the URL at the bottom, and we will put this in this week's episode's notes at the bottom of the YouTube page. So very excited, very enthused, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. As with always, we'll jump right into our weekly stock market analysis with the S&P 500. So we'll start off with our 1 year weekly chart of the SPY, as we always do every week, and we do want to kind of highlight some pretty aggressive moves from the bullish side of the house this past week, coming off of a pretty significant sell-off last week. At the same time, we do want to note that at least in the last 4 weeks or so, we are in this back and forth balance area where both the bulls and the bears have been able to obtain a certain amount of profits. And we do foresee some type of bullish move continuation to the upside as we move into next week, as we've seen a pretty consistent consolidation. At the same time, we do want to denote that we did receive all-time highs across the board for majority of the indices this week, excluding the Russell. And this could be an opportunity as we coming into kind of that fourth quarter of this longer bullish move. But at the same time, we do see a pretty aggressive move this week coming in very unexpectedly, as we had seen a pretty sharp downturn this past week. And all of that has just been dramatically reversed. So you do have a very significant bullish engulfing pattern for the majority of the bar. So we do anticipate maybe a slight pullback coming back to touch this trend line here, roughly about the $330 amount. But we do see some type of move that we would continue back upwards and continue to look for additional new highs. So we do see some type of move like this, maybe a look below and then continuation up higher. At the same time, there is a relatively consistent probability for us to see the market kind of moving a little bit sideways this week as we wait on Federal Reserve Chairman Powell's update on this coming Tuesday, as well as a number of Democratic primaries begin to kick off. So we do possibly see a little bit of consolidation. But as we see that consolidation, it does increase the probability of some type of larger move that could bring us right back down to the 20 MA, but at the same time, it could lead us to much, much higher prices. So we'll watch, as we always do, and let the market unfold in front of us and not come in with too much of a bias. But we do anticipate a higher probability of sideways to upward for this week, coming off a very solid momentum for the majority of the week, excluding Friday. So we want to take a look at how this can compare on the NASDAQ, as we saw the NASDAQ this past week coming in very aggressively for the majority of the week on very strong earnings reports, as well as coming in just above 4% for the week and taking back all of those losses that we saw over the last 2 weeks and bringing us to all-time highs. But at the same time, we are beginning to be a little bit more extended than we would like to see without a larger retracement on the NASDAQ. So the bulls are clearly in control. And as you can see, we have had a consistent number of weeks upward with a small pullback and then this continuation to higher prices. So if there is any type of consolidation, we do anticipate that coming over the next 2 weeks, potentially in a little bit of a sideways action such as this. Now, all that depends on some of the larger tech bellwethers that are reporting toward the latter part of this week, if there will be some type of movement to the upside. But your larger tech stocks are continuing to be very bullish, and we don't anticipate that declining too much, but we do anticipate a little bit of a sideways pullback. Now, that all that could go out the window with a number of companies reporting this week with some very solid information. And we'll finish up of our index reviews on the Russell. So the Russell has been the laggard for the majority of the last 3 weeks or so, coming in this week with just above 2% gain, but a pretty extended range of 6.6%, 6.6 points. And we do anticipate some continued consolidation here as well. As you can see, we have seen a little bit of a pullback. So we have a very large topping tail on this last week's bar and closing just below the 9-week average. So this is a little bit of indication that this very significant bullish trend that we have participated in, going back all the way to mid-October, where we've seen this type of movement and then a push up and then a push right back. But at the same time, with all of the other major indices this past week, the bull stepped in very aggressively and identified some very solid buy zones to retrace back upward. But the Russell was the laggard in there. So we're pretty much sandwiched right between the 9 and the 20 moving average. So that is a little bit of an indication that we might have some type of sideways movement moving in for the rest of this week as we begin to see some additional information coming out on interest rates. And that could lead us to some type of positive momentum in line with the rest of the larger indices. At the same time, we have begun to highlight a little bit more detail on gold, as gold is a very significant hedge for the broader markets, especially as we saw coming into the latter part of the week. But at the same time, gold has come very bullish coming off of its lows. So there is an opportunity. This could be a signal of the broader indices looking to kind of retrace as price continues to back up and looking for some type of double top, which does coincide right with our volume area high level. So this could be an opportunity for gold to kind of go sideways, very similar as the other indices, but at the same time, this could be a slight indication of a bullish breakout above 150. So we will watch that to see if there is an opportunity to jump right back in and increase our position that we have for gold, looking to try to bring it closer up to this 152 level and breaking this longer term trend line as an opportunity for us. So at the same time, we do want to kind of keep our powder dry. It's a pretty busy week with roughly about 70 companies of the S&P 500 reporting on earnings this upcoming week. So we don't want to rush too many things and let the market unfold right in front of us, as well as coming off of a very aggressive number of weeks from a U.S. political aspect, as the U.S. president has been acquitted from his impeachment trial, which has increased a little bit more of the division politically across the United States. However, the bulls have stepped in as a clear opportunity to buy at lower prices and seen value as a result of this acquittal of the U.S. president. So we'll watch it as we continue to look forward throughout this week. And our model portfolio has seen some very significant positive results over this past week, and very excited to share some of those informations with you. So please don't hesitate to follow us on Facebook. We'll put the link at the bottom of this week as well as in the show notes. So as with always, it's your money and it's under your control. Take care.